Today we've got our first Warzone 2 community member gameplay review where we break down gameplay that probably looks a little bit more similar to yours. Now, first things first, if you want to have your gameplay reviewed, make sure you check the pinned comment down below. I have a link to join my Discord as well as instructions on how to submit your gameplay. Now, today we are going to be taking a look at Toxic Tacos here, a longtime community member, very good player. He drops a 17 kill duos win here with Viatic, and Viatic drops 9 kills himself, so this is 26 kills total. And we're going to be paying attention to 3 main areas: gameplay, strategy, execution, and then endgame. Endgame kind of deserves a whole entire conversation by itself, so we'll talk about that later. But for now, let's go ahead and pick this up with gameplay, strategy, and execution. Starting off here at Observatory. I love the Observatory drop. You can get cash, you know where the strongholds are, and also you kind of know what you're getting, right? When you land on the outskirts, you're not necessarily sure where people are going to be, and you know, they may be camping a buy station or just waiting for somebody, you know, on top of a building. You don't really know what you're getting. Observatory, you know exactly what you're getting. It's pretty predictable where people are going to play. He's going to go ahead and peek in this open door right here. He's got prox chat, so he knows people are around here. Watch the centering around the corner. Centering allows him to kind of anticipate this guy a little bit better. He's able to hit shots and get that kill. Now, you know, he's able to get that team wipe right there, but let's talk about strategy behind duos real quick. Duos is a little bit different than trios and quads, because if we can get that first down and thirst cleanly, then we don't really have to worry about that next guy. We can go challenge that one-on-one fight, just anticipate, execute, and get that kill. Trios and quads, you're always thinking about that next enemy. How many players are still left on that team? Because if you get a down and thirst and there's still 3 players left, you got to change the way you play that. Where, you know, even in duos, if we take a little bit damage, we can challenge that because of how fast the TTK is and kind of get away with it, whereas in trios and quads, we can't. So we'll pay attention to that a little bit today. He's going to throw that down right here, just kind of looting up a little bit, don't have a ton of cash. And going back to Observatory, you know, it allows you, from what I found, is it allows you to just kind of get that momentum going. You know there's cash, you know there's going to be people around, so you can potentially pick up kills. And when it comes to that stronghold building, just in case you didn't see, if we pull this back to right here, this is a stronghold building right here. So we know exactly what we're working with. Let's go ahead and push this forward back to where we were. We know what we're working with, right? So in this very moment, we've got 1 minute and 26 seconds until that stronghold opens. This is kind of a comfort decision for you. If you want to play a little bit more aggressive like they're going to do right here, you absolutely can. If you want to just slow your game down and make sure that you get that momentum early and are able to get that stronghold, that is perfectly okay too. I'm going to do a whole entire video here on momentum over probably next week or so, where we focus on the difference between getting that momentum early and how that sets us up for the whole entire game versus getting off to a slower start early and the struggles that come with that. So right here, as they approach this building, it is always smart to try to play a little bit of high ground just for scouting purposes. You can see a little bit more. You may be able to hear people down below. You've got to clear the roof, but at this point, they hear people down below, and right here is where we see this dynamic of duos. He's able to get the down. Not quite able to get the thirst right there. There's enemy number 2, and because he got that clean kill, he can easily go ahead and push in right there. If this is quads, you play that high ground still. You get that second down and thirst, and then you kind of stay up there to evaluate what's going on. But right there in duos, you can easily get that first down and thirst. If you get it clean, go ahead and challenge that next enemy. Still kind of working forward right here, going to clear this building, trying to see what he can find. You can see that he anticipates really well. He's a very good player, and you kind of see that with his anticipation, and we'll see that with his execution as well, which is definitely a big part when we talk about, you know, execution-wise for better players. That's one of the easiest things to get better at. I'll put my warm-up video down in the comments below on how to get better aim. And by the way, guys, if you are looking to get better at Warzone 2, make sure you are subscribed down below. That is my whole goal, is just to help you become a better player. So right here, Stronghold opens up. He's going to go ahead and rotate over. This is not one with AI. Notice it's not on the map as one with AI. So he's not going to be able to get his loadout, but they do have the buy station right next to them. They're going to be able to get UAVs. They're going to be able to get cash and everything that they need to really gain that momentum. And you'll start to learn where the potential strongholds are. You'll learn where the crates are. There's 2 crates in here. 1 crate is going to be right there. He gets a little bit of cash, not a ton, but he gets enough to at least buy a gun. Really quick loot. And now he's going to keep moving. Viatic grabbed the second crate. He got a lot more cash. Second crate in this building is actually right there. So now they can go ahead and rotate over and buy guns. Now let's talk about gameplay strategy right here when it comes to your loadout. Tacos is a better player. Tacos feels comfortable with this floor loot lockman. So what he's going to do is he's going to buy his TAC 56. There's the floor loot lockman that he has. He's going to go ahead and just push. He's not going to worry about buying his secondary, and that's where floor loot comfortability comes into play. Now, you could absolutely buy another gun here. All all I needed was one little stack from Viatic, you would have been good to go. Instead, decided to go with the floor loot option. Now, let's talk about the next strategy right here. You know, Viatic's going to buy UAV here in a second, but in the meantime, Taco's, there's the UAV right there. So Viatic has a UAV. He's going to buy some guns. But right here, Tacos is going to push over to the most wanted. When we talk about pushing, right, kind of three main ways that we want to be pushing people in this game. First is going to be a UAV. That's the easy one right there, but they are harder to come by, and the ultimate perk in your loadout does work now, so we're going to run into more people that are using Ghost. Number two is going to be things like bounty contracts and most wanted contracts, right? Information on the map. We can get some cash from completing that, and we're able to get that kill. The third way is just going to be seeing and hearing people. Hearing shots fired, seeing shots fired, you know, driving around and catching enemies. So those are kind of the three main ways. But right here, we notice that we have the most wanted. We pop UAV, although I will say I probably would have saved that UAV. You know, just because we know where the most wanted contract is, we don't necessarily have to have a UAV up to figure that out. Now, it's nice to know that there's not another enemy, but you're going to see a little bit later on good shots there by Tacos, not letting that guy do anything. That's where we take advantage of that TTK, and they're going to immediately start to focus on this other team that's across, right? So they know that there's another team over here, one above, one kind of on his level, back towards the gas station right here on his level. Notice there is a most wanted flying around on the minimap, and we still want to be using our minimap. We don't use it as much as we did on Rebirth, but we can definitely do it. Now, I will say right here, I don't know who opened up this fight. I don't know if the enemy team opened this fight up or if they did, but knowing that Tacos is using the TAC 56, I probably would have played a little bit more patient. Real quick, by the way, here's the difference right now. Today is January 11th. I don't know what's going to happen in the future with the meta, but right now in this moment, the TAC 56, you've got to be more strategic about where you position yourself compared to the RPK because of the lack of range with the TAC 56. So the RPK, he's in a good spot to challenge right there. Because he's using this TAC 56, he's got to position himself a little bit more in that mid-range, which is a benefit of the TAC 56. We're going to see that throughout this game. Uses the precision or grabs the precision air strike, he switches it, and this is the spot right here where the TAC 56 does do a little bit more damage. Trying to see what he can find right here. He's going to catch this guy peeking in a second. You can see their spacing right here. Notice the spacing on the minimap. Kind of both have different angles right here. So they're in a good spot where they can cover for one another. He's going to see one right there. Probably over-chows that a little bit, but RPK, you're in a better spot to challenge that. That's one of the downsides of the TAC 56. Now, right here in this moment, this guy's plating, and you're like, whoa, how does this guy not see Tacos? There's no reason for this guy to know that Tacos is over here unless his teammate communicated it. So right there, he's able to tag. Viatic's going to push around. Unfortunately, goes down, and Tacos can keep the pressure on right here. He's going to be able to get that down and thirst. That's where we remove that outplay ability. Now, right here, guys, I really want to focus on this, and he actually is going to die right here, and let's talk about why. In this moment, always remember that there is a lack of audio, so it's frustrating when you die to lack of audio, but there are times that we can use it. So right here, what he's going to end up doing is just being a little bit over-aggressive. Instead of just reloading and not pushing, he's going to reload. He's going to keep working his way up, and he does not get audio on this guy crouching around the corner. There is no audio in that scenario, which is why he ends up going down. What I would tell him to do here, which I actually did, he's part of the coaching program, is just stop, right? Just stop right here, just replay, reload, and then go assume that he's around here because his teammate said, hey, he's right over here somewhere, and he knows you can't get that far away. So I would have played that a little bit slower. He just gets caught in between that reload or in between that switch, and he ends up going down. Now, let's go ahead and jump forward to Googe right here. We jumped the wrong way. Let's go ahead and jump into Googe. Okay, let's talk about how he plays Googe. He plays Googe a little bit different than I do. So I really focus on information and execution. Can you figure out where they are, and then can you execute from there? So he's going to find his information, right? He's going to not see anybody right here. So he knows that there's a good chance that they might have pushed right. So he's going to go ahead and nade back left. Now he does play this platform. This is something I've been doing a lot more of because it allows you to kind of see everything, also allows you to shoot down on enemies. So he's going to go ahead and check this side right here. Good execution. Quick reload. The only downside right there is knowing with the P890 you only have 8 bullets. You got to be careful. There's one right there. So he's able to get the kill. By the way, he is not with Viatic in this situation, so he's got to keep that in mind. He's down to a bullet, so he's got to be careful, and he knows that other guy should be low health as well, but you can replate, so just don't ever assume that a guy's very low health. He could absolutely replate, which is what Tacos is doing right now. So, it's a 1v1 at this point. So if this guy right here had said, hey, the last guy's broken, he's a bullet, or he's low health, and now Tacos replayed it puts that guy in a pretty bad spot. Yup, reload before you chow so that you don't get caught in a bad situation. Yep, keep anticipating. He's anticipating well. Anticipating well. There's the kill. He's got 7 already, guys. Notice he hasn't done anything special, right? Few kills early. He's able to get his loadout, get that momentum going, killed the most wanted contract, pick up 1 kill, and then he goes down, picks up 2 kills in the Goosh. I actually don't mind the 2v2 Goosh. I'm going to be honest with you. It is a little bit tougher. It can be frustrating when you get caught in that 1v2 situation, but a lot of times, you know, it should be that situation where you're able to at least get 1 or 2 kills and fly back in. Now, right here, Viatic is boots on the ground. He is down already. The one thing that I will tell you, and I told him this last night when I talked to him, is notice their cash flow right here, right? So they've got over $5,000. If there was a loadout on the ground right here, they would both fly in on that loadout to grab it. Well, I kind of view that same thing with a buy station. Now, you want to be a little bit more careful with buy stations because people could be around them and just kind of camping on them, but there's a buy station over here. There's multiple. So why not land back in there and buy your actual loadout guns? It's no different than the mindset of landing on an actual loadout that is for free. So that's just one thing I want you to keep in mind. Do not just full send it, right? Do not just full send that loadout or full send that buy station and just expect nobody to be there. That's where you're going to get caught. But if you have enough cash, don't be afraid to like land close by, grab a quick gun, and then go buy it. This way you gain that momentum a little bit quicker. Again, focusing on that momentum component of fighting with guns we're comfortable, having information, whether it's a UAV, seeing people, bounty contract, most wanted or something, and then being able to go from there. The other thing when it comes to momentum and cash flow is going to be being able to buy your teammate back, right? If we can get that cash flow momentum early and somebody ends up dying and losing Googe, it's not that big of a deal. If we don't get that momentum early and we don't get that cash flow and your teammate dies, now all of a sudden you're spending 2 to 3 minutes looting up and you're not able to actually, you know, go push people, or maybe you're the one getting pushed, whatever it may be. Right here, they know that people are over here from Tacos flying in. And again, let's focus on the spacing. Right in this moment, Tacos is in a little bit of a tough spot. You know, notice he's rotating piece of cover to piece of cover. He's keeping track of, you know, where is he able to go to not be seen or not be caught out in the open. So he knows that he's caught out in the open right here. Notice that he's going to use the bush to his advantage right there. He's going to use the tent to his advantage right here, always keeping track of that cover, knowing that there is a team close by. I will say, guys, I actually kind of like this bass right here. This is the canted sight bass, which I will never be able to recreate because you can't recreate floor loot guns. That goes back to a Warzone 1 thing. But I mean, you can try, but they never seem to actually be as good. Right here, he's going to go ahead and push up. As he pushes up, yep, he knows they're around here. There's the prox mine. You can dip below those, by the way, so just keep in mind that. And notice he's clearing this area before he plates. Good live ping right there by Viatic. Viatic and Tacos are pinching this from both ways, right? So they know there's a team in here. They're pinching, and you're going to catch a quick glimpse of this guy right there. You can kind of see his leg. You briefly saw him. As he pushes in, though, you're going to see a guy right about here. It's very blurry. It's a little bit tough to see. There's a guy that's pushing in here. That is not Viatic. So a little bit confusing there with the names and the pings and everything. That is actually not Viatic, and you're going to see how that plays out in a second. Notice he reacts right there. Little bit of hip fire before the ADS, and now he knows that there's still another enemy here. He's going to go, that guy's going to get in the car, and we're just going to be able to fry that guy right there. So all of a sudden, 9 kills, still in a really good game so far. Gameplay strategy looks good, and there are going to be some things that he does struggle with a little bit that I do want to focus on today. Just a few actually big things. They're easy changes, but they make a major impact. 9 kills, still a very healthy lobby here. They don't have Goose, so you got to keep that in mind, but look at the cash flow right here, right? They've got $11,000. That is enough to buy both players, both guns if they want them. You can go gun and a UAV. The dynamic does change a little bit now that perks do actually work. So we can buy a gun and then grab the free loadout. We don't have to worry about using that loadout to grab default perks, which the guns aren't that good, if that makes sense, right? So now all of a sudden, we can set up our classes so we can buy our primary, we can grab our secondary and perks from the loadout right there. Good shots with the M4. Again, just being comfortable with this floor loot. And even though it's a 2-attachment M4, it's a great gun right here. And now we're going to go ahead and start buying stuff. What does he buy first? Buys the TAC 56 first. He's going to try to buy again. He's going to go ahead and buy the Fennec there. I will say this. Let me just quickly clarify something. This was actually before the ultimate perks started working. So he does have to grab his perks using that loadout. He does have to grab the default class in order to get those perks. But that is fixed now, so your normal custom loadout perks do work. Trying to figure out where some people are. enemy UAV in the area. Don't really have anything just yet. And that's a tough decision right there. Viatic ends up going UAV, which is one that I really like when we focus on gameplay strategy. I would rather have a UAV right here than both players have their loadout guns. And it's ultimately up to you as a squad to determine who. But right here, look at how many people are around them. If they have both of their loadout guns and aren't aware that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams around them, they could get caught in a pretty bad spot. But they're going to go ahead and push up right here. Notice that guy. Good execution by Tacos. Able to track. Now he's got to go ahead and push up. He's able to get that knock. Once again, he took a little bit of damage. One guy's knocked. One guy is broken or at least a little bit lower health. He knows he can challenge right here. Let's take that enemy out of the fight. And this is the one situation right here where I told Tacos that he should have played this a little bit more careful. So he's able to get that wipe. Good shots with the Fennec right there, high damage areas. But we notice that there is another guy right around the corner here. Now, once again, because of the TTK, just slow down for half a second here. Throw this extra plate in. You still have radar to know where he is. But if this, if this guy makes a move or something crazy happens with bullet reg or anything like that, he ends up dying. Right there, he gets caught a little bit, but he is able to get that kill. I would have just quickly played it up here, guys. Play this a little bit slower. It is what it is. You're still going to have this guy on radar. Notice that nobody else is around, so this is a straight 1v1 fight. And by the way, you do want to remember all of this information over here. One of the biggest tips that I can give you for this game is to retain information, because we never know when we're going to be able to get it again. So he gets caught right there, but he's able to kind of bail himself out. Not even bail himself out. He just executes really well there with the Fennec. Now he plates up, and he's going to start working his way over once again. One tip I'll give him right here is to, guys, drop this stuff early, right? You don't need all of this ammo right here, especially because you have all this ammo down here. Drop it. It makes looting so much easier. Makes it, because if he has an open slot right here, this is a great example. If he has an open slot, this self-revive already pops into place here. Instead, he has to choose what he is going to replace. So I want you to start getting in the habit of dropping unnecessary stuff, especially the two biggest that I'll give you. Of course, any AR, SMG ammo if you don't need it. A lot of times you're full ammo to begin with, so you don't need that extra ammo unless you are running, something like the RPK and the Castle 74U, where you are running double AR. But at that point, you don't need SMG. The two biggest I will tell you to drop: sniper ammo and shotgun ammo. People carry those all of the time, and absolutely no need for it unless you are running a sniper. At which point you should be dropping your whatever ammo you're not using. So right here, they're going to go ahead and keep pushing. They know people are over here somewhere just based on that UAV, just not 100% sure where. And you can kind of see them looking right here. Good shots with the tac. Once again, not quite able to get that guy down. Viatic is able to get one of them down. They don't have a kill streak to finish, so they do have to go push. Viatic ends up getting a full kill right there, but they know that there is still another enemy up top, just not 100% sure where. Let's see how this plays out. They're both going to push just in case anything happens, and somehow they both died. Now, they still need to be a little bit careful here. You know that there's two players. They're able to grab that loadout. Notice I guess maybe ultimate perks were working. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure if they were, but he's got his TAC 56 now, and he actually did end up switching his gun. Now, he gets precision, but he doesn't really know where he got precision from. So you just kind of got to be careful here. There's not really a lot of room for you to run. He's just going to drop down. He does have self-revive. They both have self-revive, which is really good to know. And as he pushes in, he's going to get caught right there. There's a decoy, a nice little decoy that somebody threw down. They actually do kind of work well in this game because it is that pop-up is that technically, it's not a decoy grenade, but it's a field upgrade. So right there, able to take that guy out, but you still know that somebody's close by, just not 100% sure where. He does a good job of clearing this whole entire area, right? We don't see him there. We don't see him in the bathroom. As he pushes up, I still could not tell you where that guy came from. Right here, he's going to drop down. He ends up going down, but notice the duo component here. Viatic does a really good job of covering, just holding that doorway, waiting for Tacos to self. I wouldn't even worry about tapping that, right? Just let him burn it. The other self-revive automatically goes into place that Tacos had. Viatic gets smoked, but now at this point, Tacos can re-engage. This guy's finessing really, really well in this scenario, kind of splitting them one at a time. He was able to get that early knock. Then he challenges Viatic, but Tacos is already up. That's the downside of not getting a thirst and, dealing with all of these self-revives, is this scenario happens a lot, where all of a sudden they're back to full strength. and there's not a whole lot you can do. Now, he's floating around here somewhere, just not 100% sure where. And as we fast forward this, I mean, this guy just dipped. This guy just rolled and, like, no idea where he actually went. They're looking for him, and they have no idea. Now, when we talk gameplay strategy and information, guys, this is where you want to start working on that game IQ, that game sense. Right here, when we talk about information, they're looking in the water, not 100% sure where he went, don't have any sight of him. Now, we do see a buyback over this way. And this is where I want to talk to you about this IQ play, this really good play by them, because we see the buyback, right? For my Rebirth players, that is something you want to pay attention to. We never pay attention to flares in Rebirth because you heard the buyback. But yeah, this is a great way to figure out where people are. But as he pushes up, he's going to get a guy right below him. There is no way this guy bought back and then was able to make it all the way over here in that short amount of time. So Tacos knows that there are multiple enemies right here. Played a little bit more patient. You know, don't want to overchow that, especially with the mantle component and the fact that Viatic is pretty close by right there. So they get the wipe, but they still know that there are teams around here somewhere. You know, there's no way that guy made it from the buy station all the way over. And actually, I don't know if this was this buy station. I actually think it might have been this one over here. There's no way that the guy made it all the way to the water in that short amount of time. So notice they're just clearing this whole area. They have information about where somebody's over here, but you know, not 100% sure where, and now we just start clearing. I told him that I wouldn't have hated a play where he disengages this. Notice the cash flow, by the way. They don't even have enough for a UAV. I told him I wouldn't have hated if he disengaged right here. You know, maybe grab the car, just rotate away, and this is where we kind of get caught with people camping in corners. We can clear all we want, but because of the TTK, if a guy is camping in a corner and he gets that first shot off, there's not a whole lot we can do. Notice clearing right there, and finally, they're going to be able to catch a glimpse of this guy here in a second. Still not 100% sure. There's one right there. Good shots, gets the down. There's enemy number 2, and because he still has sight on this first enemy, right, because he's able to get the down on this side of the wall, and he has sight on this guy, he can challenge enemy number 2 right there and not worry about the thirst. Now they easily get both downs just based on execution. Get the down, there's the team wipe, and they were getting shot from the other direction. So 14 kills, still a very healthy lobby, really good game thus far, all the way around. You know, acting on information early, they both win Gouge, good gameplay strategy to regain. Acting on information well, they know somebody's over this way. And I would start to rotate in here. I think this is a really good job. Now, this right here, guys, is the big mistake that I want to highlight. This is one of the smallest things that makes the biggest difference in this game, which is going to be using cars. They should have 100% grabbed this truck right here. And this truck does a few things for us. First of all, when Tacos is rotating in, what you are going to see is he's going to be dolphin diving a lot, just like you should when you're out in the open. It resets your tack sprint, makes you a harder target to hit. But you're just kind of hoping that you don't get shot from somebody on top of the building right here. That car allows you to rotate into circle, right? Safely, first and foremost. It allows you to rotate into circle quickly, gives you cover. On top of that, it does 2 other things. First, it allows you to get to the spot where you actually want to be, right? So right here in this moment, Tacos is just focusing on getting into circle and hoping that he doesn't get torched. The car allows you to look at the minimap and go, we want to rotate exactly to this building. This is the building that we want to get to, and it allows you to get there safely. The other thing that it does, it allows you to rotate quicker to get ahead of enemies. So right here, they could easily get to a power position in a good spot quickly, at which point they can challenge whoever's in that building, and then from there, focus on what's going on. So, and this is a great example. Like right in this moment right here, you are looking at minimap. Let me see if I can get a little bit of a clearer sight. He's pushing up right here. Notice, still hoping he doesn't get shot. This building right here is in circle. So if he goes, I want to get to that building to potentially fight people that are over there. If he's in a car, he just drives over here, drops, parks the car right outside. They're in a really good spot. In this moment with no car, he looks at this and goes, if I want to get over there, that's a pretty tough rotation because I've got to basically run out into the open. So one of the biggest things that I could give you is to really start to use cars more. Really start to focus on that and use those to your advantage. Right here, notice there's got to be a team over here somewhere. If I had to guess, there's definitely a team over here that's rotating in. It's just a predictable play for somebody to be looking at this building and going, that's where we want to get to so we can go sit in a corner or just feel like we're a little bit more safe. 14 kills right here, still a very healthy lobby. Now we start focusing on Endgame. Not quite yet, although with both of them using Gouge, I would 100% start focusing on endgame and focus on where we want to be because of the limited buybacks. Not only the limited buybacks, but the fact that they don't have a ton of cash to be able to regain if they have to. You know, if Tacos or Viatic goes down right here, they're not really able to buy back. Once again, you see the danger of rotating out in the open here. And, you know, when I talked to him in our coaching session, he understood it. He's like, yeah, it's something that I've been trying to work on a little bit more, but sometimes you just move so quick. And what we really focus on is, you know, yes, a lot of times we act quick and what's going to happen next, but the car allows us to act even quicker on certain things, allows us to act quicker on information, allows us to get there safer and put ourselves in the position that we actually want to be versus the position that we have to play. If we're pushing over into a building and they see us and we're kind of a little bit caught out in the open, now all of a sudden we're in a bad spot having to fight out in the open. If we rotate by car, we can put ourselves exactly in that position we want to be in, and from there we can start the challenge. So one thing that I would really work on, notice that is an enemy car over to the left, and you're going to see this play out exactly how it should right here in a second for the enemies when it comes to using a car. One thing with the car, guys, is just know that it gives away your location. You're going to see that happen right here. You know, people are going to know where you're going to, so you got to keep that in mind. You got to be a little bit smarter about how you go about positioning yourself. Notice that they are pushing up to this building. As they push up to this building, they end up going to a stronghold building that I believe is, you're not able to actually get into that. That's locked for some reason. But this team just kind of full sends taking the ladder. He's able to get that knock, able to get that knock as well, and then he ends up getting smoked from the left side. So he's got to be really careful here. Notice both of those guys on the right side are down. That's another team to the left, and he's just in a really tough spot. They both self-revive right here. So both enemies self-revive. They're kind of in a tough spot because Tacos is fighting this team. Viatic's fighting the team to the left. Viatic gets it down right there. He gets the break, and watch how this team just gets in the car and dips, right? So that car gives you an extra layer of protection to be able to just drive away if you need to. And by the way, notice that Tacos broke one of those guys, right? Tacos broke, when we look at it, when he re-peaks right here, Tacos broke that guy. So the other one, right, the other one that's full plates could be the driver, while the other one that he broke is plating up in the back. So that's where the car gives us a lot of versatility. Good job by Tacos right there, by the way. I would say a little bit of an aggressive play, but he's got self-revive, he's got his teammate, and he's got a good amount of cover right here. Good challenge right there. It's one thing that we're going to start doing more in Warzone 2 is being a little bit more aggressive with those challenges. Strategically, of course, you know, when we do have cover and the pressure is on. Notice he's covering that door right there. Viatic's going to push in, and now they're just going to pinch this. Now they're going to pinch. There's enemy number one. Viatic goes down right there, but don't worry. Tacos is there to clean up. Really good pinch by them to approach that from two different angles and catch them off guard. And notice, like I said, guys, one goes down. You just got to clean up the second one. 15 kills, still 10 other teams. Now let's really start to focus on this end game. This circle is a little bit bigger, but once again, now they have decent cash flow. I don't know what the buy station situation is like here in case one of them goes down because we can't really see it on the minimap. But yeah, especially in this scenario where we don't have Gouge left, like, I am starting to focus on positioning and cover a little bit more here. Slowing the game down a little bit. If we can get some kills, great. But, you know, on Rebirth, we were just pushing, right? Even in Warzone 1 towards that end game, we were still playing pretty aggressive. In this, you kind of have to slow down because you get punished really hard in this game if you die, right? Because of lack of cash flow, or even if you make a mistake, not even die, if you make a mistake because of the lack of outplay potential, you've got to work really hard with smokes, with your lethals and tacticals. You've got to make good decisions with your positioning and your cover in order to even get back on an even playing field with that team. So right here, they are going to slow down. I'm going to speed this up to like 4x. You know, you're just going to see him start slowing down, playing this positioning right here. Jailbreak imminent, so we got to keep that in mind. But they're going to really start to slow down, just kind of wait for this next circle to happen to see where it goes. I think that's one of the biggest tips that I can give you for endgame is don't be afraid to just wait. You know, they're just holding this building knowing it could be a hot area, but they've got to play a little bit smarter here, and this is a really good decision by them. I would hate to have a scenario where you drop a 20-plus kill game as a squad and aren't able to clutch that dub because you're being over-aggressive. You know, if you don't get circle pull or something like that, that's one thing. But if you're just being over-aggressive and trying to continue to full send stuff, you know, yeah, that is a mistake. Right here, we're going to see where this next circle goes. They get a pretty good circle pull right here. Now, this one's a little bit tougher because we talk about rotating early, but the one thing you do have to keep in mind right here is your back, right? 7 other teams, but there's got to be a team that's rotating over from this way potentially. You're not going to have any teams rotating over cover from here unless you had a late rotate behind you, right? So unless a team rotated late backside here and just didn't get into that building yet, there's probably most likely not a team back here. But you want to keep that in mind, and you want to keep in mind there's probably a team over this direction. So I would most likely late rotate this. I would rotate this a little bit later. I'd probably play the top of the building and just walk in with circle a little bit so that we can cover our back, because right here in this moment, we talk about in circle with cover, then power position. Tacos is in circle. He's got cover ahead of him, and he has power position to see down the hill. But if he goes down right here to an enemy that's on the roof, like, he's going to get thirsted. There's really nowhere for him to go. So we want to be keeping in mind our, that complete our cover in all directions, because if he goes down in this moment, even in a 50-50 situation, he is going to get thirsted. So when we think about putting ourselves in that position, high ground and cover is the best, because if you go down, they can only thirst you with a precision or, a mortar or something like that. But when you've got your cover, also be thinking about where teams could be rotating from and have that play a factor into the decision about where you go. So right here, let's go ahead and see how they play this. 6 other teams. You've got 10 other people, so there's a decent amount of full squads at this point, right? There's at least, 4 full squads and then a solo. Right there, this is exactly what I mean. Viatic's able to get that down. Tacos is going to go ahead and push, but Viatic's not in the best spot here, being low health and not having a ton of cover. It's a good thing Viatic was looking that direction and caught a quick glimpse of that guy. Tacos is going to go ahead and pinch. Notice how he's ready for this guy, still ready for this guy. Yep, there he is. He's able to hit shots, and that guy's got no chance. So we got 5 other teams. We've got 9 other people, so just do basic math here in duos. Duos math is easy. Trios and quads gets a little bit more dicey. But duos math, pretty easy at this point. You've got 4 teams. You got them, right? You've got 4 full teams, so that's 10 people total right there. And then, now you're down to 5 and 8 other people. So not able to get the down right there. No rush to push this. You can easily just hold these guys right here. Good frag by that guy. I mean, just quick plate, though, because that guy can't push across. Hey, he is going to, though. He is absolutely going to. Viatic's able to get that knock. Now, Tacos makes an aggressive play right here, which is super interesting. Not thinking that guy was going to push up. I would not expect this guy to push up right here either. You can see him right there. I would not expect this guy to push up. I would expect this guy to continue to play that heady, but this is where Tacos does get a little bit more aggressive on this push. He goes down. Almost thirsted. That guy runs out of bullets. Viatic's able to clutch up for him right there, and he's able to get the self-revive off. Now, I would have gone right and looted right here. This is a little bit of a tough decision, but I would have gone quick loot, especially knowing you have the durable, to try to get plates, because he has no plates right here, which means your TTK on an enemy shooting you is almost instantly. So, got to be really careful here. Got to be careful challenging. He's got good... And by the way, this is where we talk about, high ground's not always the kicker. I think this is a great example. Yeah, the bridge looks good, but the bridge doesn't have a ton of cover if you're up there. You got to be really careful. And we're going to see this again right here. He doesn't have high ground, right? He's not on high ground right here. He's on a little bit of low ground, maybe even ground with somebody that's on this level. Of course, there could be people up here. But because he has cover, that's where cover's the most important thing. He's able to smoke that guy, get that knock. Unfortunately, he can't get the thirst or anything because he doesn't have a kill streak. But he is able to at least get that down and still have plenty of cover right here. So that's where I always say in circle with cover is the most important thing. And then if we can get to that high ground spot, yes, we want to have that. We want to try to get there as much as possible. Now, once again, not really able to get to this, right? They're not going to be able to get to this building or this building or this building or the bridge right here. 3 other teams. We've got 4 other people. So, you do the math again. You can figure out how many full teams there are left, but we're just going to wait another circle. If the circle pulls all the way over here, that's one decision that we have to make. If the circle pulls back towards him like it did, then we know he does a really good job here of just giving up on that. Let's rotate early right here and get to a really good position. Now, the one thing that I would do differently here, and you can see on the mini-map that Viatic is right behind him. He gets it down, not able to get that thirst. They rotate early. The one thing that I would do, and he's able to get his plates, the one thing I would do is I would play this area right here. So if you are going to rotate early, guys, your goal is to hold the other teams out of circle. Do not even give them a chance to get into circle. So that first spot where you are in circle with cover and then that power position comes into play, get to that spot, because what you're going to see here is it ends up playing out okay for Tacos, but I want to run through a scenario where he's going to be in a good position. Like, this isn't a bad position to be in. It's just not the best position possible, because notice Tacos cannot see below this ridge. This ridge right here is in circle, and he can't see below it. If he plays this wooden thing right here, this wooden sign, or maybe even over to the left a little bit, he can see below this ridge and challenge them. That puts him in a much better position. So Tacos isn't in a bad spot here, but he absolutely could have been in a better position. And look at where Viatic is. Look at where Viatic is right here. Viatic is in the spot that you want to be in, right? Right on the edge of circle, shooting down on these guys who have to rotate into you. Right there, he's able to get a knock, able to get a thirst. There's kill number 17, 1v2 situation. So now you just got to execute, guys. Now you just got to, be able to clutch this up a little bit. He's going to push around this way. Notice he's rotating early, not just full sending. He knows that he's out in the open, so he's ready for this guy to challenge at any point in time. Now he plays his cover right here. There's the team wipe, and there's the dub. So I hope you found today's video helpful. As I always say, let's get better today, and I will see you tomorrow.